Happy Monday morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. As you just saw, High-Res Expo tickets are now on sale. It's coming back to Atlanta in November, so make sure to go online and grab your tickets now so you can come to Atlanta and have some fun with us. Of course, it is Monday, so that means we have the Console League for you today. I'm Dolson to start off the day on the desk, and joining me is none other than Pretty Hair. We have a pretty good show for you today. All the first-place teams are going to be in action, and pretty excited to see how they all fare.
Definitely, especially when you look at Elevate. I mean, we haven't watched them play a game in
a
long time.
I forgot they were a team.
And then we know how most of those stories do go. It's good to watch a feels-good movie every once in a while.
Yeah, they haven't lost a single map.
Yeah.
Maybe more of the same from them. Of course, we're going to start off the day with Flashpoint and Arial Arise. Flashpoint, first place in this region, and they don't look like they're going to slow down anytime soon. Of course, adding Skeppy a few weeks ago, and they're looking really good, much the better for it. Somehow a good team got even better, I think, with the addition of Skeppy. Do you think anyone's going to stop them at this point?
Probably not. They're looking good, but not impossible to defeat.
Right.
So it'll definitely be a good set, I think, for that. A lot of couple of veterans still swirling around there that I think are absolutely worth mentioning as well. Skeppy was picked up for LAN. He's not going to be super advantageous online because he's got all that wicked ping to deal with, but he's doing his best. World, what a player. He's been with these guys for such a long time at this point, and it has become a real staple for them. Moving over to the tank as well. You used to play like stuff like the Blasters, a little bit of that Zin when that was popular, all kinds of stuff now, but that off-tank role has proved to be so important this season.
And his job is really just to open up lanes, open up space for Prosper and Skeppy so they can find some room, do some damage, and do what they do best, which is finding kills for their team. Of course, I believe Flashpoint are already locked in for MSI.
Right.
Not that they were really in any risk of not going to MSI anyway, but it's up to these other teams to really play spoiler, I think, at this point. Try to improve for next split, try to look a little better going into the weeks after the MSI. We're going to flip the script, look at Arial Arise as well. And they're a team that they've been in second place, and it's one of those regions where it's like the first place team, and then the second place team looks really good, and then, of course, third and fourth are kind of bunched up together. But I could see them, in theory, being the second team to take a map off of Flashpoint. Of course, Stush is the only other team who's done it up to this point. But do you think Arial Arise could maybe take a map today?
I do. I think Flashpoint, like I said, have been looking good, but not infallible, right? And they're making roster adjustments because they are locked in to go to MSI, because they are in a good spot already and they want someone else. Skeppy is guaranteed he can make it. He's been there before. He's performed before. It is absolutely the right call for Flashpoint. Makes them slightly weaker online, I think, in a couple of ways. So we'll see if any of the boys of Arial Arise can step up to the plate today. Paradiox is going to have to be that guy that sort of goes toe-to-toe with the DPS of Flashpoint and see if he can find anything there.
That's it's going to be a tall task, isn't it? I mean, we mention Prosper Logic, Skeppy essentially every single week that we're talking about Flashpoint for good reason, but that's really going to be tough on the side of Arial Arise trying to keep up with that damage. It's not something many teams have been able to do, but potentially putting themselves in a good position to do it today. Bright Marsh, Jag Falls, Frog Isle, Timber Mill, all banned out. Splitstone Quarry is where we're going to head for map number 1. I feel like we haven't seen Splitstone all that much as of recently, whether it's banned out or just not gone to. But sort of an interesting first map, I think, in that the point fight is sort of highly contested and fast, but then the defensive end tends to slow things down. If this is Arial Arise's pick, do you kind of like Splitstone coming out first?
Yeah, I think whatever your best foot forward is certainly good by me. And this is a map that is cool because there's a couple different ways that you can draft. You can draft a composition that's pretty strong, right next to the point, the underground little bleacher area is what I like to call it. And you can draft somebody else. I think Eevee has been a very important pick for PC, but in any type of flanker with vertical mobility will do just fine. If you have a team that drafts to just play under the bleachers, and that's all they can really do is contest there, but you have the only vertical mobility, you do a really good job, and you can kind of get a big surround going on them and just shoot at them from a couple of different angles. Map control is something very valuable that a lot of teams fight very hard for, so we'll have to see who drafts what type of stuff.
Definitely a map where high ground plays a big role. Talus frequently banned out here in the Console League, making his way through as the first pick for Arial Arise, and I think this is sort of one of the champions. Something you like to say is, all right, you're constantly banned out, so when they finally come through, show me why that champion is always banned out. prove to me that it's banned out all the time for a reason. So Arial Arise putting their best foot forward champion-wise, but Genos Victor going over to Flashpoint.
Let's hope so.
That's pretty much tried and true, I think, for this team at this point. They're going to have a lot to deal with.
I feel like I just pictured like a meme video in my head where you just say Genos Victor going over to Flashpoint, cut off immediately, and then it's just going to cut into like a quadra kill or something from this Victor. What we're about to see, it's a dangerous combination to give Flashpoint, but that's the conversation around Talus. Let's see if he's worth it. He's still viable pick to minor league PC, but with Torvald is the heavy caveat there. Always with Torvald, never really without. I think he's the type of character that can absolutely get away with it without Torvald. First pick, that's kind of yet to be revealed.
I like the Bomb King going over to Arial Arise as well, switching things up. There are a couple players on console, I think, that have sort of shown us that they can really play that champion, but sort of hit or miss, I think, across the board. Atlas, of course, last guy getting picked up here for Flashpoint. I think I know which way you're leaning. Genos Victor Leon for such a high priority damage dealing team. That's pretty scary.
It is a very good Flashpoint draft, but a very good Arial Rise draft for different reasons. We'll have to see, you know, how this plays out. I think these teams are not really vertical mobility, like I was kind of talking about. So I think it is just going to be kind of a head-on clash for that little underground control.
Well, Flashpoint certainly are your favorites here in this matchup. Let's send it down to Evan and Gore to get this one started.
Thank you, guys. We are here in the booth live in Studio 5 on your Monday for PCL. Me and Gore just did some jumping jacks, some push-ups, ran about 3-4 miles. We're ready to start the day.
Definitely am capable of running 3 to 4 miles.
Definitely Monday feeling.
And the casual right before console 3-4 miles.
Easy. I mean, that's how we prepare.
The rest of that stuff is actually like feasible. We could have done jumping jacks.
We could have.
Once you hit the 3 to 4 miles,
then what?
2 is my limit.
2's your limit. Gore.
Well,
I think you can if you had to do it.
If I had to run the 3 to 4 miles,
but nobody.
I would make myself do it.
Who has to run 3 to 4 miles? Not me. Maybe these guys. Maybe Cardio Victor on Split Stone Quarry.
The question is whether or not Prosper Logic wants to. That's actually I'm really excited. The next update
for the new cardio
when it comes through. I'm wondering if it's going to be enough for people to want to grab it. I think right now, specifically to me, still liking burst mode, still liking, well, not cardio, I guess is the best way to word it.
Cardio.
I don't use it the right way. I don't use cardio the right way, so I don't think about it in that moment.
Right way? I mean, that's the thing. Hasn't really been the meta quite yet, but we'll find out. One day, potentially. It seems like more likely here. Good damage on Prosper. Prosper given just as good as he's getting. Atlas here, Luminary, and the Deja Vu setting up for a nice setback. And Alex Kidd already very low and goes down thanks to Skeppy.
It's one of those moments where you think really highly of Arial Arise, especially with the way the draft goes. You get a good Bomb King pick, I think, on this map. You get a really good Talus pick just in general.
Yeah.
But the problem is you've got Leon, you've got Victor, you've got Genos, and even though it was 10th pick, Atlas is going to look good throughout all of this. All of those champions with a Luminary boost is almost too much damage to handle.
And great angles that everyone's taking, and good setback as well. Benji does have the damage to compete, but there's a good wall. Legacy just fighting for himself. The Grumpy Bomb gets absorbed. That's what will happen with that wall. You throw those projectiles, and they will just stick in there and essentially kind of go into the nether realm. Overtime taken away, 99% for Flashpoint. Alex Kidd getting bursted down, but Earthen Guard in the wall is going to save his life, at least for now.
I mean, that's going to be the goal right now, is just try to stop the bleeding. It's 99%, but everybody on the other Arial Arise is just too low. There's going to be a couple of shots here. Prosper Logic, just tighten that aim a little bit.
Yep.
They'll die a little bit quicker, but overall it doesn't really change anything. Between him and Skeppy, it's just a pincer of hit scan damage.
Pincer indeed. Prosper, 3 streak. Flashpoint up 1-0. Long point fight. And looking good from all of the main stars as well. Here's the barrage, and good damage. He realizes, oh boy, Paradox got right on him, and he gets the kill. Prosper's going to go back to base.
I like the call, though, to cancel his ult when he did, where it's just like, I'm going to get one shot off. I'm just going to retain the 40%. Not going to try to either hit them at long range or swivel over and hit this Talus right in front of me. Like, it's just not going to work out. I'd rather just be able to try and grab whatever I can.
Right.
Of course, Paradoxigod. I mean, this is one of the guys that has been doing incredibly well these last few weeks. And again, I think against any other team that's not Flashpoint, this Talus is going on a 10 streak right now. But it's just so difficult for him, especially on this map and in this kind of matchup. to get anywhere. I mean, the minute he shows his head, Victor and Leon and Atlas and the Barrick can all shoot him from long range. They don't have to get close to him.
Well, you know, he's going to potentially play spoiler here because even though he hasn't been maximizing his potential, he's just that constant threat. And little moments like this, Talus is such a good character. The Varicharger in its nature is such a good weapon to capitalize on this stuff. No real progression being made here. It's really good defense on the side of Arial Arise. It's not a good look for a Flashpoint here on Splitstone. If they're looking to really get past this choke, they've got to put something better together.
You know, I'll throw it out there. I think Talus is my #2 counter pick against a Ruckus. Like, I think Cassie is always going to be your go-to because big game is really good, and once she gets Wrecker, it's a 2-pot shot for the shield and then 2 or 3 for the health. It's very easy, but Talus, the same thing. You give him Wrecker, he hits Overcharge, that shield is gone in just a second, maybe 2 if it takes you too long. And then you burn through his health bar. Like, he's one of those champions that I think has been very big on console and is very good on console, but I feel like has a position somewhere in the meta and it just hasn't been pulled out yet.
But what I like about that, because, you know, then Victor comes to mind, then Vivian comes to mind, you say, wow, Talus better than those. But what I like about it is he's got the damage reduction, and he's got the mobility. He's a little harder to hit, and while dishing out that same level of Vivian damage when she's in that opportunity in Chaos when he hits the overcharge, he's just a little tankier, a little bit more mobile, and also has that reset in case he does get low. The extra kind of get-out-of-jail-free card really helps him to delay the burst of Ruckus, which is about just laying into you, getting those headshots and hitting those rockets. Good stuff, but overtime is started a little too late in my opinion. And it's going to be difficult, but look, they lose both tanks here, Gore. Maybe something can turn.
I mean, that's definitely going to at least get them to this last little corner. If they come around, they're going to be walking directly into where Arial Arise. Again, you step out on the base, you're on a balcony, you're elevated high ground, and you're going to look onto them. So you're going to be looking at Skeppy, potentially Legacy here, going for a flank, just trying to play distraction and let this payload get as far as it can.
Now, good wall, being able to shoot through that, find that value, and obviously stop all those defensive opportunities here. Khan trying to push out, finds Skeppy, he's low, 288. Still healing up, using the out-of-combat healing, and getting the extra healing from Eminence. Very nice play. He's back to full overtime, still ticking away, but Storm Avatar has to fall back. And it's a defense successful. It felt like there was something going on, but Benji holds the corner well. And Atomic AMK doing what he needs with those grumpy bombs, zoning out Flashpoint for now.
And it just came down to a couple of small picks. One was, well, you get rid of one front line on Flashpoint. It makes it a little easier to deal with their pressure. Both the front lines there, like Barrett can last for a while, Atlas can last for a while.
Yeah.
But once their cooldowns are cycled, their cooldowns are gone. And their pretty much survivability disappears with it. World Edit more than likely going to be running resets for this Barrack loadout to be able to kind of keep himself going. The same thing we've seen for every Barrack player in the last month. But it is that moment that, well, you've already dropped below the threshold, use that reset, it's going to have its internal cooldown, you don't have the cooldown for the ability. Like, once that's gone, you're just a guy with 3,400 health. You do not have the ability to sit on that payload forever.
Yeah, I think that's something to keep in mind of as Alex Kidd already tries to contest. We saw this go one way, but Alex obviously has a lot of healing potential. That's the benefit of Moldamba. Throw the Gore to the tank, keep the Mending Spirits on the off tank, looking to pressure, and there's King Bomb. It's not gonna get the kill. Legacy, about 100 health left to his name, but a Dome Shield now from World to try and hold them off.
And doing a good job. Benji actually gonna get killed off, I believe, use the overpower to try and grab World, and end up actually losing his own life, which at that point must have been a turret kill since he was up in the air. Either way, it's Flashpoint dominance as they just continue to get aggressive and get in their face. And poor Inara has been in this unfortunate circumstance where she's doing whatever she can. She actually got a really good health reset from the Moldamba and using her own innate healing, but there's only so much you can do when you're taking this much damage.
Right, I mean, and also when you just have that lack of mobility, that's the thing about Inara. She just can only go, left, right, back, forward. There's no up, there's no down, there's no rewind.
She's not just going to burst in.
You see it happening, that's for sure. Very predictable, great use of the skills there. Gets himself with a little second chance, then use the setback to buy a little bit more time, put them on the defensive, and hold the same show. Atlas, very cerebral, we've called him, and Legacy playing very, very well. 2 minutes now on the clock. Prosper Logic just getting back in. Curious how his damage numbers have held, Gore, the big conversation.
Very high.
Yeah, it's been way above everyone else, but this time not zooming too far. Skeppy keeping pace, about 12,000 behind it on Split Stone. That's actually pretty good.
He's not hitting his 10,000 damage a mark right now, so
No.
Prosper.
Step it up,
I have
man.
to mark you for that one. No more MSI for you. No,
Step it up, dog.
As he comes through. This guy has been doing ridiculous damage numbers. Like, this is what I would say is, like, even still an above-average Victor game, right?
Yeah.
In terms of damage.
Sure.
It's just that he puts out so much damage every single week we watch Flashpoint when he plays Victor that this seems like a low number.
Well, you know, Gore, what's so great, and this is... if you know, when you see your own analytics, say you're a streamer, say you're a YouTuber, you see your own analytics, and more what they're doing is comparing you against your previous self, which is always good, and that's like how we're should really be judging our performances, right? Don't look at social media and say, wow, that guy's got a Lamborghini, I've only got a Toyota, you know? You have to go like, well, I had no car, and now I've got a Toyota, and now I'm doing this. Prosper, comparing himself against some of the best performances in the PCL, it's okay if you go down a few percentages on your average. You're setting the pace, buddy.
And, I mean, at the rate this game's been going, especially with the way Split Stone is kind of laid out, this looks like it's going to be a 4-3, right? This is one of those moments where you can kind of tell Arial or Rise have the defense. If they get this kill right here and they can kind of open it up and Flashpoint want to pay attention to the payload, it's becoming a lot easier. Now with 3 kills, it's 2v5. That payload should be moving, but 30 seconds left. There's still time for Arial or Rise to respawn, come out, defend. If it goes 2-2, you're just going to be getting that damage.
What an incredible setback onto Tariq. I cannot believe it. I mean, he had to have gotten that slither off. And how long is he running on that setback? Because it looked like, what a distance. We can look at the loadout here. Send your enemies back 0.9 seconds into the further pass, which means that he got all the way back up to the bridge. I mean, that was a very long setback. And although that can hurt you sometimes, like on a point fight, put him out of contest where you can finish him off, I mean, here, it really helps to get the support.
And that's actually one of the highest I think we've ever seen that card run. Normally it's like 0.4 at level 1.
Yeah.
So going to 0.9 is a very big increase. Level 3 there for that card, which, like you said, can help or hurt. It gives you a bigger window for their health bar to be able to say, like, man, you just got some crazy burst heal.
Exactly.
I can take you back far enough that it's not going to matter.
Right.
But at the same time, there are those moments where it's like, where are you going to end up?
Right.
Like, now that I'm sending you back that far, like, I don't remember that far ago.
Yeah, where was that? I was sleeping, you know.
This was 5 seconds, essentially, in the past.
Yeah, I mean, Leon, imagine, you know, some of those moments we've seen her kind of super slide off of, you know, one of those balconies, catch some of the momentum of the map. You set back somebody like that, they could end up on the entire opposite side, and they were in a bad position before. So you do have to be careful. That's why Cerebral comes to mind. You actually have to think while playing Atlas. Sorry, guys.
Shout out to Skeppy, though, on an 18 streak. No deaths to this point, and I think that's kind of, again, when it comes down to it, that's the one thing I think about Flashpoint. Like, if you had asked me at the beginning of the split what kind of move could they do to make their team better, I would have just said, honestly, they just have to grind. Like, they just have to continue what they've been doing, always an upward trend.
Yeah.
And then they add Skeppy, and I'm like, okay, well, that one. That's the move. That's the only thing I think you could have done that could improve this team, is to just add another player that is on class and on par with Prosper Logic.
Yeah, and I like leaving the analysis sometimes to the guys on the desk, but really we're seeing a very big issue in getting to the back line. You know, Skeppy's on a 19 streak. No one has an easy way of traversing Splitstone Quarry except for Talus. But that ultimate is not landing the way he wants it to. It's not getting the same value, and Skeppy, again, adds to his streak with 20. Notably, though, if he goes down, Arial Rai is going to pick up a heck of a lot of ultimate charge. But that seems like a easier said than done type of thing.
I mean, at this point, I think Talus is the best bet of doing it, but again, like you said, it's just not working out for him. Plus, Skeppy at this point has almost always had his Enlightenment ready, and I feel like that's the moment he's waiting for. It's just, okay, whenever it happens to be Talus coming for me, or if it actually ends up in a scenario where I'm going to go through, like I might die, he's saving it. He's not using it necessarily for the kill. He's not using it the way that we've seen a lot of these players kind of pull it out. This very much has been a,
get him,
just keep me alive.
Oh! How did that miss? It looked like that was going to hit him in the same exact spot, 1,029. Oh my god, Luminary Atlas. And what we've seen is that Atlas does have this little bit of, I think that shot could have been hit. Wasn't min-maxed, but I think that shot actually can land for Atlas, as we've seen with some of the snipers using some of that hitbox range. And look at how far he sent Zanara back. My goodness gracious. She's had to walk about 3 to 4 miles this morning, Gore.
I mean, it's like, that's, you know, how she keeps, I guess,
that's how she keeps
the stone-cut figure.
Yeah.
Is the fact that she has no movement ability. She just has to walk everywhere.
Inara's workout plan.
Also, Inara, strongest mount in the game for her and Terminus. It's just,
Oh, yeah.
it's pretty heavy Stigala.
Heavy
to come
Stigala.
through. Rocks, pretty heavy,
It's all muscle, though.
but there you go.
All muscle. Definitely a low-carb diet for her. And she's my motivation, really.
Exactly,
You know,
honestly.
you look at that. Getting ready for summer, Inara, she's right there. And that's why
She's always ready for
the
summer.
beach summer Inara skin, I mean, guys, it should happen. And if it doesn't,
should.
somebody's not doing their job.
How many skin? I want a compilation of skin ideas that we've thrown out, but Barrage
Over the
is gonna
years,
come
I mean,
through.
Gore.
It'd be a lot.
It'd be a lot.
Talus goes in, actually gets the kill there, but again, I think this is the moment that we've been looking at. You're focusing down one target, and it's so far been Prosper. I feel like he's been hitting Paradox, or Paradox has been hitting Prosper as much as possible. And Skeppy's been the one who's kind of been walking away free because of it.
And look at this. Atomic AMK doing everything it can, pulling out the stops. But I think the stop sign is for Arial Arise. Stop contesting. The futility seems to be in the air. I can smell it. There's an overpower, but Prosper finds Alex wasting his time walking into the base. Unfortunately, he's in a position where he has to realize that he's standing in the wrong spot, just like I was a few seconds ago.
That's fine. When it comes down to it. That was that moment where Khan is, I mean, he's walking to the base, points over there. That's where he needs to be paying attention. Someone needs to be down there. You can overpower on the objective as long as your team's concise in shooting, but it was, what, 2v5, 3v5? Like, they were just in a perpetual death state, essentially, there at the end.
Yeah, it was not the way that they wanted that to go, but it doesn't mean that they can't change their fate, their future. I mean, somebody jumped out of time to go and enjoy that game of Paladins with them, so if Atlas can do it, then I'm sure Arial can as well. Let's send it back to the desk, get ready for game 2.
Thank you, boys. I think game 1 pretty much goes the way that everyone was expecting there. A little bit slower, I think, thanks to Splitstone Corey. That's probably why you go to a map like that to slow things down on the defensive end. Arial Arise are able to get a couple points, but the true offensive power of Flashpoint really shone through there, and I think that's what we were expecting to see out of them today.
Absolutely, and it may not be their worst map, but I think you hit the nail on the head in saying that it's not picked up a ton, so nobody knows how to really play much of it. Prosper Logic gets his little Genos Victor. Skeppy does that dance on Leon as well, and all's well and good in the Flashpoint camp.
All will always be well and good, seemingly. I mean, it's hard to like really try to dissect picks and bans at this case because guys like Prosper and Skeppy have shown that they can kind of flex onto any of those primary hit scan damage dealers, but when you hand over the Genos and Victor and Leon, I mean, this one was sort of written on the walls, I think, coming right out of picks and bans, especially with the way Flashpoint are playing right now. 19.5 KD Hay for Skeppy, 99,000 damage, second only to the like 130 that Prosper had.
Right, and one thing that I have always worried about a little bit with the Skeppy pickup is that Prosper and Skeppy do kind of overlap a champion pool a decent amount. And right now, it's not the biggest deal in the world because most of the console meta revolves around those hit-scanned AR type of characters. And there's not a ton in the way of blasters or even really projectile flanks. Like, you can go without playing Cassie. There's not a lot of people. I think Emmett Payne might be the only one I really remember loving and playing a great Cassie projectile character, period. So if that ever becomes a problem for console, that might become a problem for Flashpoint. Right now, they've got a great roster to play what the meta is currently, but I just worry about this team if things change at LAN at all, where projectiles do become a bit stronger on lower ping.
Well, it's going to be fun to see how that sort of changes and morphs over the coming weeks and coming months, especially moving towards MSI. We are going to have Stone Keep here for map number 2. I believe this one will be Flashpoint's pick as Arial Arise took us to Splitstone Quarry. Unfortunately, not in their favor. 14.5-minute game number 1 goes the way of the boys in gray. Victor, Vivian, Talus, Torvald. V's and T's all banned out this time. Getting the Genos, though, back to the Flashpoint side. Tyra's still around. Leon's still around. If they want, they could form a pretty similar draft to what they had on map number 1.
Okay, Arial Arise going to scoop up the Amani. Atlas is open. But they love that hit scan. Khan's going to go next. Flashpoint banning away the Victor of their own volition this time, so we'll have to see how that evolves their composition. They grab the Barrack as well, which has been the premier tank to pair with Genos.
And World on Barrack last game had some really good plays. I mean, it's easy to kind of be outshone when it comes to finding kills, especially when you're on a team with some of the offensive power that Flashpoint has, but playing a really good Barrack last game. Again, we sort of talked about him pregame, opening the lanes for Prosper and for Skeppy to be able to do their damage. Barrack, a great pickup here. Tyra, of course, a double damage amp for the boys of Flashpoint. Makoa as well coming through for them. Sarah Sonara. Sarah's has been an interesting talking point. How do you feel about where she's at as a healer?
I don't mind Saris too much. I think when you look at like performances Vex has had on the character, he looked really, really good on it. There's been a couple of moments where even like Bird and Spunky and some of the OG supports were even kind of giving their stamp of approval on that character. I think the ultimate's insane if you can hit it, if you're good at connecting those convergences. I mean, even onto 1 or 2 people, it really can swing the fight around for you.
And then Koga as well. So double damage amp.
Yeah.
And the Koga for Flashpoint. We've seen, it was actually more back in Claw Koga days, but Prosper's had some big plays on the Koga in his past, so maybe a little bit more of the same here on this map. Of course, this is their map pick, so they 4-2 on the side of Arial Arise. Maybe a little bit better here going into Stone Keep. It is going to be game 2, though. Send it down to Rain Day and Gormizer to get this one started.
Woo! It's game time, yo. Stone Keep coming at you after Split Stone Quarry. I mean, there's a theme, and it's obvious.
Flashpoint are trying to get stoned.
They're trying to get stoned.
That's the goal here today for them.
Or they're trying to protect their stones.
Either way.
Either way you look at it.
It's looking pretty good for them. I actually am really excited because I love watching Atomic AMK play Blasters. I think very, very good Bomb King. Probably one of the better Drogos that I've seen on console, although it's been a hot minute since he's played it, mainly because Drogos isn't currently floating around in the meta. And
right.
Honestly, if you're going to play Drogos, I would choose to play him not against 2 of the best hit scan players on console that are on Flashpoint. So definitely something to think about. And they grab in Koga, Tyra. They have 2 versions of damage amp.
Yes, they do.
For this Koga.
It's scary.
That is ignoring the fact that there's a Makoa in the game.
Well, with Adrenaline Junkie, you're really going to hope to try to catch out maybe a really smart Frost Bomb, but as long as Prosper Logic is aware, he should be able to dash before it actually detonates. Another dash as well. He's going to really put pressure onto them. Adrenaline Junkie is about shooting, and if you can build up your energy while shooting, you can keep dashing and then keep doing that. That's that Frost Bomb we were talking about. He doesn't preempt it, but he still has enough health to get away, and here the cycle may begin.
And that's the real moment I think to be looking for, is just where does Paradox kind of lock down Prosper? Or can he lock down Prosper? 1 Frost Bomb has been good, but how consistent is that going to be? I mean, 20 seconds is such a long time, especially in the lifespan of a Koga. Like, 20 seconds is, he's looking to get 2-3 kills in that time period.
Right, and Prosper actually steps forward a little too far. I think he had them cornered. They had to make a move, but he tried to make the move before them. And honestly, him dying means that they've got to back off a little bit on the side of Flashpoint. 87% now for FP, but Arial Arise slowly climbing up, and this looks bad. This looks like really, really bad.
This is almost one of those kind of compositions that it's almost a 4-protect-1 without being a 4-protect-1, right? Like, it's not the Torvald where it's just we're going to all in on you, but like you said, once they lose this Koga, you kind of lose a lot of the pressure. You should still have some push with Skeppy, but it's just not going to be the same amount, especially in this kind of marking area. You're going to have to be looking at Skeppy to primarily focus down these front lines, and I think that's the role I need to kind of see him take on.
And no convergence able to be used. Prosper takes down Benji, then Tariq, and now the crossfire just to seal the deal from Skeppy. It was close. Arial Arise hit ults a little earlier, not some of the bigger ults, but a convergence might have shifted that, and you can see it's still 100%, died with it in hand. And now Flashpoint able to retake, but Arial Arise had a good moment in that fight.
I mean, being able to come in and at least find first blood, they get themselves on the point. Like, one of the things I think that has been showcased again and again by this team is that they are always right there, and it's just that Flashpoint recognized what they're about to do, right? Like, they're just 2 steps behind Flashpoint perpetually, and it's one of those things that they're playing really well, they're making the right decisions, and they're approaching fights the proper way. It's just Flashpoint knows what you're about to do, so they're ready for it.
Yeah, they're ready. They're actually excited for you to do what they think you're going to do, because then they can do what they always do, which is get a lot of kills, do things like this. Cyclone Strike into Benji. Oh, into the convergence, but he's just going to dash away. Super tough for Tariq. I can see why he didn't use that ultimate. There's just not a lot of great targets for it. I mean, except for the Tyra, Genos able to run away. 2 shields from Makoa and the Varric. And then Prosper just might as well not try any CC on him because he's got that dash up so frequently with Adrenaline Junkie.
You know, for what I'll call the Genos meta, I will say Console, I think, has probably the short end of the stick, right? Almost, but doesn't quite kill that Imani. Prosper tries so hard. I don't think I've seen a Koga. I don't think I've seen any flank.
And got so far.
Dive between, what was that? I guess all 5 members, technically 4 if you don't want to count Imani there. Like, everyone is looking at him as he's just trying to burn her down.
He almost did it.
And still almost got away with it, yeah.
It's because, I mean, Adrenaline Junkie, like, we don't realize, like, when Koga came out, everyone was thinking about Koga, and it was so fun to play this build because it was very, very OP in the right hands, in the right moment. And it got banned quite often if you said, oh, it's the Torvald that was picked up in competitive and dominated. But by itself, as a standalone, no damage jam, people left it alone. But I felt it was still very, very good. Adrenaline Junkie is like a man's best friend. You don't need anything else but your dashes and your shots. And healing takes care of itself.
At this point, a Crossfire looks to take care of anybody that might be left on Arial Arise. Atomic AMK can't leave the base. Alex Kidd can't stand on the payload. And this should be Flashpoint converting unless someone wants to jump down.
Good stuff. I think Flashpoint realized that not a lot of threats coming through. It's like an eventual push. Have you ever seen that the show that Golden Boy does and The Rock, the Titan Games? Have you seen the exercise where they're both on top and they're having to push like a beam to go left or right, push like a wall, and if you push it far enough, the opponent falls off and you win?
Yeah.
It feels like Flashpoint know that they're just slowly pushing that wall, and there's not enough resistance to ever push fully back onto them, but it's like not an easy push. It's a hard push. They're getting a workout in. They're strengthening the calves for summer, beach time, but I think that they know they're going to beat Arial Arise.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a really good comparison overall, just because I think this is very much like that, where it's not Flashpoint are coming in and they're just bursting them off the edge.
No.
It's not, oh, Flashpoint come in and they're having the toughest time. It's going to be a 4-3 every game. It's very much we're just slow and steady, going to win the race. Like, we are going to make sure we're ahead of you. Even right now, they start by losing 2 immediately, but they get rid of the Inara. Like, you have to put someone who's admittedly not going to be as comfortable on the point to fight up for Arial Arise here. But they still have comeback mechanics, so it's still going to at least help.
Yeah, and that comeback mechanic is the fight they should win. I mean, Storm Avatar finds Paradoxy God, which, Core, that's always a big problem when a Genos can get a kill off that ultimate. You're not expecting that, and so now it's going to help Legacy do his job, help Skeppy do his job, and this has been the big thing. They've focused Prosper, they've let Skeppy do his thing, but again, the man is on a 14 streak, soon to make it 15. Let's Tariq get some help.
I mean, this is going to be exactly where he wants to put the pressure on, because Saris, again, this is going back to, I feel like Console kind of gets the short end of the Genos meta, because Genos is so strong.
They don't have a Damba to go to.
Yeah, they don't have that strong secondary. Like, my next 2 in my mind are going to be Damba and then Ying to try and keep up. Yeah. And it's just not enough. Saris, to me, just does not quite hit the marks I want. And if you have someone bullying her the way that so far Flashpoint have been, kind of leans one-sided.
I'll tell you what, they are doing a great job of dealing with Prosper's dive onto the Inara, onto the Imani, I will tell you that. Sorry, the eyes, they got me mixed up there. Arial Arise looked to take this one with a good dragon, and Flashpoint had an opportunity, but unfortunately, it is going to be a continued resistance from Arial Arise. Can they turn it into a result? We'll have to see. Flashpoint don't seem concerned, even though this point does not go their way.
Well, it's one of those areas where, again, the worst-case scenario for them is 2-2, and everything's even again. You don't have to worry about a comeback mechanic. And best-case scenario for them is a 3-1, which means they get to come in fighting potentially for the map on the next point. And it is very much those moments. I think they're relying almost too much on one mentality, which is, well, we have Koga. Anytime Imani ults, let's just send Koga to kill her.
Right.
Because now twice it hasn't worked. I feel like this is one of those games where Bulldozer's important. Bulldozer's not there.
Yeah, nobody has it.
I mean, you could come through. It's not just the dragon either. Like, I mean, how the amount of times I've seen Skeppy putting some damage into the Inara wall, it dies a little faster if you have the Bulldozer. Like, this is that moment where it becomes such a good item. And I understand where Prosper is. He's got the COT 2 plus 2, a little bit of damage reduction, a little bit of CC reduction to keep himself going. But, I mean, you're a flank. Like, you're just going to go all in. Like, you have the Genos boost. You have potentially a Tyra mark on the target you're going for. Like, I want to see him kind of forego the fact that, like, you're going to die. That is your job. Your role is to go in and die. But your job is also to get 2 kills before that happens. You're not supposed to walk out of that fight.
And, you know, truly, the Dragon hasn't played an impact for too long because they do pull out of that Imani Dragon, and she goes, last time she pulled out and hit a Frost Bomb, and they finished him off. But it essentially helped the other 4 members. They're doing this tactically, and I don't know if this is the correct decision. I know if I was a player, I would be through time and spacing right now if I could see all of those little silhouettes.
Through the wall. If I had
like,
wall hacks, I would also like to through time and space. There were like 3 moments there, everyone lined up, and I'm just like, if only you knew.
Oh, mama. Well, I feel like, it's not like surprising where they are. I mean, there's no Drogos flying up in the air. Everyone's grouped up. It's competitive play. But here's the Dragon. Now Prosper diving yet again, and the whole point is try to do it, and they can't get there. They get the Dragon. This is their strategy. They don't want to invest in Bulldozer. They're just going to send Prosper to go kill her every time.
And what I like is this is actually kind of double dipping, because now that the Imani's actually gone, they took so long to respond. Well, hey, look, Tarek's left alone. He can come through, kill off the support. Now who are you going to go for? And that is the goal, right?
Yeah.
You will die. It doesn't matter if you die if you get 2 kills before it happens. And he gets 2 of the biggest targets, I think, on Arial Arise off the board.
The only thing that I would have looked at is you got to fight. As the Adrenaline Junkie Koga, your safety is in getting another dash, because then you get the healing, then you do damage to them, and you buy more time. He ran away. I think he should have turned, fought onto the Imani, and then that way he continues to get this cycle. Sometimes you can live with 100 health and just keep going from 100 to 400, shoot a little bit, get to 100 again, dash because you've shot, and you've earned another dash with that energy.
Oh, mama. It's only going to connect on one, but it's going to be a good one to be able to connect on that one. And that's one of those moments, end of the round, that's one of the easiest ults that you can throw out just to make things one-sided. It's a 4v5, and when Arial Arise lose even just the one front line, there's not enough contention.
It's worth 1 point. And through time and space for 1 point, that's a good trade.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
That's a good trade. Koga doesn't have his ult, but Legacy does soon. Obviously, the Dome Shield is here, so they should feel fine trying to play this one. Atomic AMK, like you said, showing all the good stuff with the blasters. And definitely putting pressure onto Flashpoint. See if they can close this one out again.
Well, now we see. It might only be 1, and it's only at tier 2, but Skeppy's gone for the Bulldozer.
Oh,
and admittedly, Skeppy is the one I wanted to see with the Bulldozer the most, because again, I think I've seen Skeppy put quite a few shots into the Inara wall, because it's just one of those moments like, that thing's going to last forever.
Yeah.
You might as well burn it down. Your entire goal at this point is burn down her, and that's exactly where I want Tyra to be. I think this is a really good pickup for him.
I think he's hoping to get his ultimate online, which is why he's looking to get a couple of shots. Now he's just going to wait long enough, and he's got it. So he's going to back off, regroup with his team, and try to figure out the angle. 39% and comeback mechanics, so pace is a factor here. Firebomb just to avoid that staircase, and he will isolate Benji a little bit, but they've got to start pressuring Alex. I expect a crossfire to come relatively soon here from Skeppy.
Well, there's going to be the Dome Shield trying to open up at least a little bit of room on this objective, but it's 81 to 21 here. Arial Arise, though, incredibly low. Tyra going to be able to pick up that kill, but Imani almost got away on that. And now everyone's in one area, 73% on this Cyclone Strike, so it's not going to be able to come through and clean it all up. But you do still have, well, everything else in Koga's kit to do it.
And really good stuff from Legacy. That should do, but here's the Dragon, and Prosper knows it. He can get in. She's going high. He's going low. Looking for dismounts is probably more impactful, and the Bulldozer from Skeppy is enough to deal with the threat. 99% turns into 100. It's that slow push, but Flashpoint not worried. They grab the game 4-1, and they will take a 2-0 lead in this best of 3.
And I like the way that they're approaching this, because like a lot of this fight between them and Arial Arise has very much been a, you are a good team. And if we make a mistake against you, you are going to beat us. Yeah. Flashpoint has only dropped one map this entire split, and they don't look like they're planning on doing it anytime soon. So I kind of appreciate the momentum they're bringing in. It's not, they're not pushing too hard.
Yeah. I mean, best of 5, I misspoke there, best of 3, but first of 3, Flashpoint only 1 win away. Send it back to the desk, see if they can do it.
I think they can do it. I think a safe bet is that Flashpoint will take map number 3. They'll go through to a 3-0. Unless Arial Arise change something around, Flashpoint are just playing too well, I think.
Yeah, they're getting really, really strong picks as well. There is, like I said, those moments coming into today where Flashpoint don't look immortal. Yeah. They definitely look like they can bleed, they can be beaten on certain point fights. Comeback mechanic is very difficult to play into, but when you give this many power picks away to Flashpoint, and specific power picks like the best performance ever from Legacy being on Makoa on Stone Keep, something you definitely have to keep an awareness of.
13, 1, and 12 for the Tyra. Prosper 10, 6, and 13. Not a slash line to scoff at, but of course we get to see the McCullough come through. Legacy having a great game, but a wild Ancient Rage he has there, affecting 3 kills in this one. And if they're not going to do it to you with the Victor Genos, if they're not going to do it to you even with the Tyra, you can always count on one of the frontliners to come through and have a big point fight as well for you. So 4-1 here on Stone Keep. Do you imagine this one goes 3-0?
Double damage amp. Looks good, feels good. I think we are set up for a 3-0 here. We'll see where it might come to a close. Ascension Peak switches things up here a decent bit. One of the more unique capture points. You can drag things out. You can make do with a less optimal per se frontline draft. I think this is the map that came in and really started to bring attention to Barrick, being like, well, this guy can point frontline pretty good on this map. People start to get really good with point fronting with Barrick, period, and then he becomes a second-tier point frontline.
And Flashpoint have gotten Barrick both of the drafts up to this point, as well as Genos. So if Barrick is a high priority on this map, and Flashpoint have been playing it really well, they could go that direction yet again. Tyra Talus and Monty Torvald all banned out here. Arial or Rise have kind of shown... okay, so I was going to say they've shown a real priority towards sort of Khan and Atlas up to this point, whereas Flashpoint have really leaned into the Genos side of things.
Yeah.
Arial or Rise, though, they're going to take away the Genos this time, which leaves... that's Victor Vivian for Prosper and Skeppy. And that just shows you how much confidence they have in these two guys. We'll ignore all of the frontliners, all the other champions that are available. We'll just take Victor Vivian
in this game,
and let our boys do work.
Arial Rise are grabbing some great picks, though. This comes down to the conversation of Arial Rise haven't gotten bad drafts in any of these games. They might just be looking a little bit outclassed when it comes time to get in the game and hit your shots and to make decisions, right? This is only half the battle this draft. You can lose a game before you get into game if you're not careful here in the draft, but have to be able to execute on what you're picking up and pulling out.
And Khan still filters his way through to Flashpoint as well. So despite going double hit scan picks 1 and 2, they still get one of the better frontliners trickling down to them. Atlas is still around. Ash is going to go over to Arial Rise as well as the Drogos. So Flashpoint, despite going sort of an interesting route with their first couple, I would say still are happy with what they pick up down the stretch.
Where they pick up the Leon is where things are a little bit questionable, because you can grab that Khan there. I think it's very easy to grab one of these very high potent backliners who aren't going to be out of position with overpower. You don't need to worry about Leon going Flashpoint's way. I doubt they're going to run triple DPS without Genos. That's the one time I'm like, I don't know about this pick, Arial.
I mean, as you said though, they've had good drafts. At the end of the day, Flashpoint are just playing really, really good Paladins. They're one map win away from taking our first set of the day. Will they do it? We're going to have to send it down to your casters to find out.
Thanks, guys. Time to get ready for the potential last game of the set. Rain and Gormizer here to close it out. Gore, I mean, what's been the theme? Flashpoint still doing their dang thing?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
and
it.
I think that's, when you look at the draft here, it's the same thing, where it's just like, we're just going to get Prosper and Skeppy and Legacy and World and... well, everybody
we just gonna
on
do it.
something they're very comfortable on a map that, admittedly, I'd say their draft works, I would even give a little stronger on. I think Barrick has good potential to dance around the statues more than Inara, but with the damage numbers coming down from Flashpoint, I don't know if it's going to make that big of a difference.
I don't think it will.
I'm also excited to see Storm play Maldamba.
Yeah, and we talked about not having a Damba, but Storm Avatar, one of the only players in the support role in console, feels relatively comfortable in it. Not going to take it away from other players who do, but we just notably know he's gone to it every now and then, and it will be something that he'll lean on today. Obviously, a much more mechanically difficult champion in Paladins and in general, and so in console, it's an added feat due to some of the lack of maneuverability that's capable without a mouse and keyboard. But Flashpoint up to the task and down to get this Vivian rolling. That's really who they're counting on to kind of pop off here.
And I'm looking for Storm. I just want to see how many stuns he can get this game. And it's just one of those things, like, Maldamba brings so much that
was that
kind of blown away by the fact that I didn't even get to finish my sentence. I started that when Barrick got there. Halfway through, he's dead.
Well, this is like a Warder's Field Inara, I think. I mean, unless something happened that he didn't have. Let's look at the talents one more time. Yeah, it's treacherous ground. So he could not get his rocket boots off, and that's really what put him in a bad spot. And it's something I've thought about like a lot, but has never really been brought out because you give up on a lot of that damage reduction and defense. But it's a very good counter to Barrick, specifically as he emotes as he's going down.
Barrick and the Ashe, admittedly, like you kind of lock down the dash for either of them, either to stop them from getting away or to stop them from getting in your face. And the same thing can be if Leon happens to be in the area, if Drogoz happens to be in the area, you can lock them down a little better. But that was an incredible start for Flashpoint that turned into an incredible wall from Arial Rise that just stopped everything they were doing. That 90% seems to just disappear. Wow. And I think part of that was, I mean, that Ashe, just how much knockback she had onto the Inara, and apparently how much pick potential they have on this Inara. This is looking really good from Arial Rise.
Yeah, and I mean, Atomic AMK playing this perfectly. The Legacy's not going to be able to touch the point. It's going to go to the way of Arial Rise. They're going to take the first objective. This might just be what they need. Absolutely dunked on. Benji takes Prosper Logic out.
I'm going to file that one under unnecessary ults.
He had about 5 health to his name. Absolutely. It seems like there was a little more to that.
That is one of those moments where it 100% is. I need to put you down.
Yeah.
And I need to put you down hard. So like it's more than just I need the kill.
Yes.
It is I want you to remember this.
Remember me.
In the future. The next time you see
the dark version of Coco, you know. Remember me.
Completely different twist on
my shoulder bashed on your face. Remember me. Great movie. And I think maybe Flashpoint, safe from going un poco loco at this moment in time. I think they feel pretty good about their opportunities here. Three could clean that one up. But still, Arial Rise sneaking this one on through. Maybe this chill nature of the performance is going to hurt them in a little bit if they don't get careful and kind of buckle up.
I mean, if they go up 2-0 here, that's something that, one, they haven't been able to do this set, but also it's something that we haven't seen done against Flashpoint in a long time. It's just kind of showcasing how good I think Arial Rise is on this Ascension Peak and how they figured it out. And this is exactly why I was saying, like, the last couple of maps.
Yeah.
Arial Rise is a team that has always been right there behind Flashpoint. It has just been that Flashpoint were always maybe 1 to 2 moves ahead. Now they're not. This is what it's like on an even playing field.
Now Arial Rise are 2 points ahead.
True.
And this is the fastest game that we've had thus far. Fastest to 2 points, I think. And Flashpoint got to step their stuff up. Atomic AMK, phenomenal pick. Everyone getting a little spicy here because against 2 hit scans, you think, nah. But look at the damage. Look at the confidence. It was hubris, really. I mean, you stand in that little corridor, you think, no worries, we'll just kill this Drogoz. But he backs off and says, wait a second. I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
I just want to talk about the travel time on those rockets at that distance. And yeah, there's splash damage, but there's not so much that you're going to be able to hit 4 of them in a row like that. Like, that is, I know Drogoz, I know how I need to aim this. Like, admittedly, your Lucky Con was kind of staying in the same area a little bit, but at the same time, I think that just showcases what Atomic AMK can do on a Drogoz.
Well, the thing is, it feels like really lucky for Prosper to get out of that, because another version of Atomic AMK hits all those 3 shots, and Prosper's dead. Now Legacy looks to be dead. You're trying to at least find someone. Can't even get the first kill onto the Barrack. Have things just gone awry with Flashpoint's picks here? Skeppy's in the back line. Paradoxigod wants to finish off World, and it looks like they'll do it here.
I mean, it just feels like 2 completely different teams. Like, if it weren't for the fact that I'm seeing the names pop up, I would say that maybe we had them on the wrong sides. Maybe we were looking at it backwards.
Right.
Maybe they switched controllers somehow for this set. But no, it's just Flashpoint are just getting picked off. They're getting maybe too aggressive. They're fighting in really awkward areas. I think they're underestimating partially what Genos can bring when added to specifically a Drogoz.
Hasn't died.
But also when it comes down to the Leon, like the amount of damage they're taking, I think, is more than they're expecting right off the bat. And then they keep putting themselves in, I want to say, questionable positions that, admittedly, it's easier to pick off just one of you, and then it's a 4v5, then it's a 3v5.
Every character on the side of Arial Rise has some great burst damage. I mean, they poke, they do their burst, and they can do it around corners. A lot of Flashpoint's damage is consistent. You have to be in line of sight. You have to be finding your target and staying in that angle that allows you to not only do damage, but be vulnerable to damage. And Vivian, the Victor, the Inara, the Khan, we're finding them not be able to keep up and have the same type of sustain power. Also, maybe a bit too much of a flex here onto the treacherous ground Inara. She's not sustaining the way that we usually sustain.
And that's, I think, the biggest thing is you're looking at an Inara who doesn't have that extra damage reduction, doesn't have the CC immunity to deal with all these knockbacks. So Ashe is just kind of bullying her whenever she gets the opportunity. And I think, yeah, you counter the Barrack, but is that enough? Does that warrant that decision? Yeah, you can stop Ashe from dashing, but 9 times out of 10, she's not killing you with the dash. She's killing you with the shots. She's getting aggressive in other ways.
Right, and that's the thing. Inara, unlike Khan, where you pick Stormer bullets, is not designed to function in high level. As Flashpoint do capture, although it's a bit harder than they would have hoped, it's not designed to kill the barracks. Inara's treacherous ground allows you to start doing that. In casual play, sure, but giving up on what makes her valuable, and admittedly, she's dropped in value over the course of this season because of the mobility value that Barrack has brought, the damage value that Genos has added, and the Inara of current age is one of just being tanky. That's about it.
And I think that's been, I mean, admittedly, that's her strength, right? She's not meant to have a lot of burst, a lot of mobility. And yeah, it's nice to be able to just say, hey, you can't get these dash resets anymore. But the last 2 games, you haven't had to do that, and you've been killing Barrack just fine when you had to go against him. I think it was last game.
Right.
So it's not necessary for you to stop him. It makes it a little bit easier, but if you're dying just as much, if not more than he is because of it, I don't know if it's a worthwhile trade.
Yeah, there's some moments where, I mean, you're seeing what it means to get that extra bit of damage reduction. You're seeing what it means to have that CC immunity. It's a big deal. It's a huge deal for Inara, and you know, you cannot underestimate it unless you're kind of underestimating the damage that will be showing up for you, and especially with the Genos. And with that Leon and Drogoz, I mean, this is probably the most threatening damage that they've put together on the side of Arial Arise this entire set. So I get it, but also may not be working out to make things easier for Flashpoint defense on the rise for Arial Arise. 50 seconds left.
Well, it doesn't help them much that this is exactly the kind of composition that Arial Arise have drafted that, admittedly, even if you had an Inara that could stand there forever, she's going to get burned down. That's what this draft is built to do. There's going to be the Dragon Punch, which admittedly either of those front lines is going to be a good pick because look at where that payload is and look at who's on it. And the answer is no one from Flashpoint. They're going to be able to get Legacy to touch. They might have the healing. They have a Dread Serpent, but it's almost too dangerous to use any ults here.
It really, really is. And Storm Avatar showing the mechanical differences and how it can be just difficult to do those min-max things in those fast periods of time. Now he finally gets the angle right for the Gourd. Skeppy so low, actually no health at all. And the Enlightenment used, and Paradox God could have gotten a kill onto Storm Avatar as well. He just didn't realize that he was there until he decided to look away. Now Storm going to go back into his own Gourd. Good decision making, and it does help Prosper to finish him off, but it does look like the defense will absolutely be held 3-1. Arial Arise look like they deserve to win this game.
Honestly, that 3-1 might be, at this rate, potentially the score we could see. It depends on how they can do on other maps. Again, this is looking phenomenal for Ascension Peak, and I think their draft works really well for them. Even then, that point fight, the only reason Flashpoint get it is a couple kills, and then Drogoz, I believe, was just slightly too high to be able to contest the point, so he doesn't get what you would expect out of it. And now they're going into, I mean, they have record 2s, they have cauterized 2s, a couple of morale boosts even coming through. And I can tell you, if there's anyone that you don't want to see it on if you're playing against it, it's Drogoz. Just because he's going to come in 41%, 2-3 rockets, he's going to be able to come in and, again, kill off Khan or Inara once again.
Well, Arial Arise have a chance to close this out. It's not often a team is 3-1 up against Flashpoint, so hopefully they take advantage of it. And it looks like they are. 224 gets a lot of damage on the Legacy, forces the Commander's grab, and Benji goes in the Assert Dominance. This time doesn't find the kill, but Atomic being patient. Dragon Punch had a big impact last round. Can it have an impact again?
I mean, 67% already.
Oh.
And that 3-time in space not going to connect, but the shot from the rocket does. And that's one thing that Drogoz has above all other blasters. He can shoot around corners perpetually. A lot of damage around corners instead of just a little bit of splash when you throw through the door. So being able to set that up, unfortunately missing a lot of rockets right here, and that admittedly kind of helps Ashe lose her life.
Yeah, you can't do it. You just can't do it. I mean, this is It's game time, baby. It's game 7. Gotta hit the free throws. And those are free throws, if anything, in comparison to Drogo's rockets that he was hitting earlier in the round. This time, Flashpoint, they take it because there's just not that damage on the board anymore. And it's, wow, very interesting to see how things might be shifting if Arial Rise cannot keep executing.
They've taken the appropriate steps to deal with Arial Rise, although that one was less of a deal with and more of a, well, we're attempting something new. And you're not hitting as many rockets because of the way we're moving, so we're kind of keeping you locked down. Like, admittedly, there have been a lot of moments where we've seen a rocket go straight to the face of someone running at the Drogos, or it's gone kind of where someone was standing more or less still. Now Flashpoint are starting to push Arial Rise into the base, and this is the kind of dominant performance I think like we expect from them every week.
And they're in their rhythm, and sometimes when you're not playing great, you need a little bit of confidence, you need a kill, you need a moment that says, okay, we're back to where we need to be. At this point, a lot of momentum built, and the Drogos is not in the driver's seat anymore, and it's important for him to maintain that relationship in the damage department. Otherwise, he is a sitting duck for these 2 hit scan pressures, and make it 3, because Legacy also has a very strong hit scan option in that revolver from Khan.
This Ashe has been going from probably one of the most dominating to kind of just bullied at this point. Like, she was hurting the Sonara, hurting that Khan, dealing with the backline. She was doing it all. And in the span of, I want to say, like 6 minutes, she went from on top of the world to kind of having difficulties showing her face coming through. Sir Benji is just kind of locked down. Not perpetually, but you can't aggress the way that you were earlier, and that's kind of the, I want to say, the help of Cauterize, making sure to deal with the healing that Ashe would have had earlier. Just to make sure that she's not going to be able to do quite as much. Jeez.
Wow.
Leon's still firing on all cylinders, though.
Makes you wonder. This is what Leon was brought to the forefront for in the beginning of this meta, and in the Pro League we've seen this where just not prioritized anymore, and she can still do these things, and these are the things that make her valuable. It's interesting how things shift. It does feel like there's a chance Storm Avatar may have to hit a couple of shots here. Keeping Legacy alive is a good aspect. Throws the gourd down to slither out of it. 15 seconds left, and here's Prosper back in the action. Kid falls, and it looks like it's going to be a push. 3-3 going to the final round.
Well, this is where things get a little more tricky, I think, for Flashpoint. The last 2 points, they've been aided. They've been able to capture a lot faster thanks to comeback mechanic and, well, maybe a couple of lucky misses from Atomic AMK, or maybe calculated movement on their part. Really depends on how you want to look at it. But the point being, really, that they only kept up in most of those fights because they had the comeback mechanic. Now they have nothing. You look at World, he's 2-11. Storm is 0-7. Yes, everyone else is positive, but I mean, they're dying a lot on the side of Flashpoint. A lot more than I think they would want to. And if you lose, I mean, if you lose World here, if you lose Legacy here at the very beginning, you lose the point. I just don't think they have enough comeback push in an objective to lose early on and take it back.
It's going to be difficult for sure. A lot of tensions because Arial Rise know this could end the set or this could keep their hopes alive and start a comeback. It's not a best of 7, it's best of 5. You have to win 3 in a row, but it's better than winning 4 against a good team like this. So we've seen it done. Good grenades, everyone patient. They know their lives matter more so than any other round. And he's going to get taken out before he can land. That could be the difference.
And that is that moment. Both front lines still alive. One looking like he might go down. It does take a little bit, but Legacy does get taken out. It's going to be 1-for-1 on front lines there, but Atomic AMK had to use a lot to invest in that. And again, not able to find the kills just yet. And the Rockets, they're solid, but not solid enough.
Watch out. Watch out. Oh, fire spit for 3. They got to get it. Benji knocks him away. Storm Avatar is going to get away. Dude, what are you doing? You gotta shoot Maldamba! He shot Khan twice. Finally, Atomic AMK kills him, but is it too late? Tariq with a beautiful through time and space. And yes, they are gonna stay alive. 45-39 gore. Tensions are rising here. Prosper Logic doing everything he can to get Benji, but he's still got 248 health, and he's hiding.
And it's 248 too many for Flashpoint, but it's still going to be enough to stay alive. He moves away. They're playing the dance around the corner over here. Flashpoint is still trying to fight for the objective control, but unfortunately World is just locked in this corner. Can't really do too much. It's going to be 57-48 now.
And that's good teamwork, and that's what happened. Arial Rise are playing like they could win this game. but the teamwork from Flashpoint isolate 4 members. They finish off Atomic AMK, and now they have a 5v4. Prosper and Legacy, they're going to turn it into a 5v3, and it seems like Flashpoint, just with more coordination, end up combining their efforts for more value at the end of the day.
Coming around, just trying to collapse in and get rid of Alex Kidd. And that should be 99%. That's going to be overtime. If they get rid of this Drogos, that should be easy. But there are enough people around to touch and keep it going for Arial Arise.
Now, I like the difference of the way he's playing this Battle Shout. You got to try to kill him. I don't know if he can. Skeppy, World Edit, they already found the kills. Meanwhile, Atomic AMK, his damage, when it's not on the point, it's not where it needs to be. It's super, super close. And what a great effort from Arial Arise. But that wall that's been pushing from Flashpoint's end finally topples them over, and Flashpoint take the set.
And you know, I'm going to have to break it down because I feel like what we saw earlier, and we were kind of harping on the treacherous ground because it's like, well, there were a lot of moments it didn't work.
Yeah.
But at the very end, it did come in handy to just get rid of that Barrack, not have to worry about him, and then allow you to focus more on the bigger threats, which were the Ashe and the Drogos.
Absolutely. Well, let's send it back to the desk. Set 1 goes away at Flashpoint. Who would have thought?
Game number 3 and set number 1 of the day, both going the way of Flashpoint in this case. Not without a little bit of struggle, though. I mean, Arial Arise go up 3 points there. They're 1 point away. Then Flashpoint kick it into gear, take the map, 4-3, 3-0 on the day. And what are some thoughts you have taken away from it? Was a close map number 3.
It can get a scary when you're about to do a big thing that you've never been able to do before, and you have to maybe get there that one time.
Yeah.
You have to feel that choke. You have to feel that regret, and then you've done it all before. Maybe you can do it all again on a different day. So Arial Arise, they definitely have the stuff. I think they just have to be able to put it together for long enough on any given day to be able to take down Flashpoint. Atomic AMK look good on the Drogos.
Yeah.
But you could definitely see those knees weak, palms are sweaty type of moments when he's starting to whiff on a couple of shots.
It's like us raiding in Destiny. We would get
Yeah.
all the way to the end, choke it all away.
Yeah.
And then have to do it all over again. Flashpoint, though, coming out
That's
on top
life.
here. 12-9, 15-8, actually. Legacy. Prosper, of course, 19-7. Having himself a game on none other than the victor in this case. But Legacy having a great game on the con up to this point. The overpowers were good. The damage was good. A little bit of a slower start, but I think once they started to kind of figure out what was going wrong, Flashpoint, they put it all together. I guess it was, what, 3-1? So kind of the reverse sweep, I guess, on this map.
Right.
Improved to, I guess they'd be, what, 10-0 now overall on the season. 1 map loss for them. Not losing anymore here today. We'll have to take a look at the standings and see how things shook up here. Flashpoint, yep, 10-0, 29 game plus minus. 6-4, 3-7, 1-9, go 2, 3, and 4. No, Stush, it's so unsatisfying. I talked to Gore about this, like a nice round number, especially on like volume, like a 5 or a 0 is where you need to leave it. Like 29 in that far right column, it's like 10, 0, 29. It's just like the least satisfying thing ever. But of course, Flashpoint have solidified their standing and moving into the MSI. They'll be there, and they're looking good. We had some DQs in this region. I think Stush DQ'd this week. So Aaron Monner would have gotten the free win on that side of things. Not that it makes much of a difference standing-wise. But Flashpoint, I think, would you say they're trending the right way? Because you always say you want to be peaking at the right time. Do you think they're peaking at the right time going into MSI?
I think they've made a real big roster move to get them in the best spot possible for the MSI. So I definitely have faith in this squad.
And definitely looking a lot better. Of course, that's only match number 1 of the day. We have Cyclone, of course, coming up next. And all of the number 1s are in action throughout the day. So it's going to be a fun one. We're really excited to see how they all play out. Lots of fun matches to watch. That's only match number 1. Match number 2 is coming up right after this.
Brought to you by Skillshot, Hi-Res Studios, Evil Mojo, INAP, SteelSeries, on.